Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsha Rishibhyo Namo Gurubhyaha. We were looking at up to the 12th Vakya in this Arthabhaga Brahmanam we have come. So what here already we have seen is that there is this Graha Atigraha Rupa Bandhanam is there. That itself is called Mrityu. Graha means the Indriya, and Atigraha is the one which is attracting the Indriya, which is the Indriya Vishaya. So the sense organs and the sense objects are called Graha and Atigraha, and they are the ones in fact which is also drawing out the Jiva and creates a Bandhana. In fact, this is also talked about in the Kathopanishad, correct? Paranchikhani Vitrinat Swayambhu Parang Pashyati Nantaratman. Like that. So the Swayambhu or the Ishvara, we have to say, has created all the jivas such that they are always Paranchikani, means their Indriyas are all looking outside always towards the Indriya Vishaya alone. And in that manner, in fact, the Swayambhu Vyatrinat means almost destroyed them or killed them, like that. Means basically you have lost your Swarupa. But even there what is said is, so they all see only Parang Pashyati. Normal human beings are only looking outside always. Na Antaratman, they have no idea about their own self or the reality of their self. But some people, Kastid Dhiraha Pratyagatmanam Aikshate, those who have discrimination, Dhiraha, they only turn inward in the sense that they also want to know who is this knower? Who am I really? That question does not come to everybody. Most people take themselves for granted as the limited individual and they just try to go through their lives in whichever best way they can. So here also something similar, correct? This Graha, Atigraha are the bandhas, are the bondage really, because they are actually drawing you out and keeping you engaged in the external world, and you are not able to even turn away from that and look at yourself really, the one whom you have taken for granted all the time. Now, is there a Mrityu for this Mrityu? That was the question, correct? The Graha, Atigraha, the sense organs and sense objects themselves are presented as death in one way. And that also came in the Kathopanishad, which I remembered somehow, no? So there also it is said that Ishvara killed literally the Jiva by making the Jiva look outwards. So that is Mrityu. That itself is called as death here, because you have lost your limitless nature. So there cannot be any other death, I think, really speaking. But is there a death of that death itself? Mrityoho Mrityuhu asti va na. Now, if you say it is there, then there can be a anavastha dosha. If you say there is nothing like that, then there is the what we call as anirmoksha prasanga. There cannot be any moksha there. But then Yajnavalkya said there is Mrityoho Mrityu and there is no anavastha there, because for that Mrityu there cannot be any more Mrityu. There is nothing left anymore. Because it is Advayam Brahma, there is no second thing which can be a Mrityu for that. So there is no anavastha and all that. The Mrityoho Mrityu is there, and that is Jnanam. That is the Sarvatma Bhava. And Therefore, moksha is possible. Moksha is there. The freedom from all these bondages are there. So that was said. Then Arthabhaga asked a question. So you said this Jnani Purusha is there for whom this death of the death also has happened. But then such a person we normally call as Jivan Mukta, correct? The one who is enjoying the freedom from all this bondage even while living. But what happens to that person when he dies? Because even a Jivan Mukta, Jnani also has to leave this physical body. The physical body itself continues because it is like a fan, correct? You switch on the fan is rotating, some momentum is already there. Now, jnana is like you switch off. That means there is no more electricity coming in. But still the fan will not immediately stop. It goes that whatever momentum has started the fan, that has to be exhausted for it to come to a stop, correct? So that is the kind of analogy we give, or a mukta issue and all we say. Once you have released an arrow, already the force has been applied. That arrow keeps going till the time that force is there, and then it will fall. So like that, Jnani's life continues. Because the important thing is, Dvaita is not real, correct? Just because it appears, it is not real. Therefore, the appearance also need not vanish even when we know that it is not real. Particularly for others who are taking it as real. Even while you are seeing something, you can know that it is not real. That's why we also talk about two types of this adhyasa. Because whenever we take one thing for the other, for example, you take the snake as the rope. So, sorry, the rope as the snake, I have to say. So you take the rope as the snake. We say that there are two types of adhyasa there. One is called artha adhyasa, means you have taken one object as the another object. So you have taken the rope as the snake. But not only that, you are knowing the rope as the snake. That is called jnana adhyasa. Now, when the jnanam comes that it is not snake, it is rope, in this case, the snake entirely vanishes. That means both arthadhyasa and jnana adhyasa are gone, because your knowledge that rope is snake also is gone, and also you no more, the appearance also is gone, you no more see it. But let us take another example, like sun is going around the earth, because sun rises, sun sets, all these things we are saying. But people up to even 400, 500 years back, most of the world was thinking that sun is rising, sun is going around the earth and all that. That is also an adhyasa. But there, even once the jnanam comes that no, only earth is rotating, that's why sun is rising, sun itself does not really rise. Even after that jnanam comes, means the jnana adhyasa is gone. The sunrise is not really happening. That knowledge is there now, because of which you know, you can say that now sun is not really rising. But that doesn't mean that appearance of sun rising is going to go away. Okay, so in some cases, the artha adhyasa can continue, particularly if it is not your subjective projection. In the case of rope snake, the snake is purely a subjective projection. The upadhi is your own ignorance. And once that ignorance is destroyed, along with the ignorance, the appearance of the snake also goes. That's why in an erroneous cognition, we say ignorance itself is the material cause of the appearance. because the appearance also is destroyed along with the destruction of the ignorance. And along with that, the appearance getting destroyed means ignorance should be the material cause. Because for any name and form, the material is the one which is which is giving the very existence for the name and form, correct? For example, for the pot, clay is giving its very existence. For the rope snake, for that snake to appear, we say the ajnanam itself is the upadana. So this is very important to understand. But in other cases, the upadana is a different upadhi. Okay, it is not your own ignorance. It is, that's why we say it is Ishvara's Maya or Ishvara Shakti and all that. Particularly when it comes to the Vyavahara, this Srishti itself, it is not my subjective projection alone. In fact, my world is made up of both Ishvara Srishti and my own projection, because anyway my judgments and my own likes and dislikes are coloring my perception. It is for everybody, it is like that. But even once you know the reality of this appearance of world, which itself is made up of names and forms, since it is not your personal projection, it need not come to an end. Even though the ignorance has gone, that means the jnana adhyasa is gone. You have not superimposed wrong knowledge on right knowledge. That wrong knowledge is now gone. Wrong notions are gone. Knowledge is there. But the appearance need not vanish, because the appearance is continuing, because the arthadhyasa is due to some other upadhi, which is not your own projection. So that way we say that Jivan Mukti is possible. Why we have to talk so much about Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti is that only Advaitins talk about Jivan Mukti. For all others, Pujya Swami used to say, right? He used to say it is all only tourism promotion. He used to say all theologies are really tourism promotion. That means they are giving you some nice view about some Swarga, whatever it may be. It may be a Swarga. For a desert theology, Swarga means rivers of wine are flowing, lot of women are there. All these things is there Swarga. Or there is also Vaidika Swarga is there, Vaikuntha and Kailasha and Golok Vrindavan, everything people talk about. So for all of them, there is only Videha Mukti. There is no concept of any Jivan Mukti at all. You have to die and go somewhere. That itself is taken as moksha. Now, how do we argue with all these guys? Based on what Vaidika Pramana means, this Videha Mukti also is very important. Both Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti are important for us, and we have Vedic statements to support both. So here, the Videha Mukti is talked about for the Jnani, and by that, what is negated is all these tourism promotion theologies are negated. Because what Yajnavalkya gives the answer is, for the Jnani, the Sukshma Sharira does not rise and go anywhere else. Only for an Ajnani, the Sukshma Sharira has to go and take another Sthula Sharira. Then it continues. For the Jnani, he says, Atraiva Samavaniyante. So this is the big quotation here. Atraiva Samavaniyante means here only everything resolves back into the Samashti. Even the physical body, of course, goes back on into the earth, that everybody knows. But what about the Sukshma Sharira, Karana Sharira and all that? Because we talk about Sharira Trayam. The Karana Sharira is already gone, because the self-ignorance is gone, means the Karana Sharira is gone. And also the Sukshma Sharira, which is Prana. Prana here means we have to take mind also. Understand that? Prana here is mind, and all Indriyas together is called as Prana here. So the Asmat Pranaha Utkramanti Aho Na Iti. That's the question. This Pranaha being in plural, the pranaha here means you have to take the entire Sukshma Sharira. The Sukshma Sharira remains here itself. In fact, it gets resolved into the Samashti aspects. That means there is no more birth and death for the Jnani. That is the general rule. But this particular thing is said only to negate all this other interpretations where they say that moksha itself is not possible here. There is no Jivan Mukti, and also Vidaya Mukti is traveling to some loka. So that's all gone here. But even after that, what remains? He asked, correct? Only the name alone remains. That was the answer, because name continues for others. The Jnani himself is no more there. Even after Vidya Mukti, Jnani is gone completely. But Jnani's name, Jnani's Sukshma Sharira, Stula Sharira, Karma, everything is gone. But name still remains, particularly for others. Okay, because in fact here Anandagiri explicitly makes a point that that name is only for others. Swadrishtya nama api na shishyate, he says. Because for the Jnani is already gone, means what about the name and all that? For the Jnanis, even while the Jnani is alive also, we already saw that, because Atma means what? Yato vacho nivartante apraapya manasa saha. So Jnani knows that there is no need of any name, because I am not the meaning of any one name. That is the important thing. If aham satyam jnanam anantam brahma means, anantam means I cannot be the meaning of any one word. In fact, I am the meaning of every word. Or finally, you have to say no word in fact really denotes me. Even the word Atma also is only provisional. In fact, that we saw even, I think, in 147 bhashya, where Bhashyakara very beautifully says, even the word Atma is used only in the Vyavahara. There is no need of any word to denote the Atma, because Atma is Swaprakasha and Swatasiddha. Word also is not required, really. All the words return back. Mind also cannot objectify this Atma. So, from the Jnani Swadrishti, there is no Nama also, but the Nama is there only for others, so that they can use, they can refer, and it can even be there for thousands of years. Till now, we are talking about Adi Shankara and other Jnanis, the Guru Parampara is there. And that name itself, why it remains, means it is Ananta. The names are countless and they will remain. And they are equated to the Vishwe Devaha. And here, Jnani becomes the Atma of all the Devatas. So, Jnani is also all the Vishwe Devas. Like that, only it is there here. Up to this, I think we saw Anantameva Lokam Jayati also. We have to take it as the Jnani has become Sarvatma. Jnani is everything. Now, further, Artha Bhaga now asks about the Ajnani. About the Jnani, the questions are over. Even the Videha Mukti of Jnani is discussed, and then it is said that Jnani is both Stula, Sukshma Sharira resolve into the Samashti. The Stula Sharira goes into Virat, Sukshma Sharira goes into the Hiranyagarbha, and nothing is there, no more, nothing to rise and take another body and all that. Now continuing what Yajnavalkyeti Hovacha, so again he calls Yajnavalkya what? Yatra asya purushasya mritasya agnim vagapyeti vatam pranascha vatam pranaha chakshuhu adityam manaha chandram dishashrotram prithivim shariram akasham atma oshadhihi lomani vanaspatin keshaha apsu lohitam charetascha nidhiyate ko ayam tada purushaha bhavati iti aha. Okay, now this Artha Bhaga is asking about the Ajnani. In fact, he himself says what he is saying. When this Ajnani Purusha dies, what happens for him? All these things are going. See, for the Ajnani or for anybody who is there, how does all our indriyas function? Okay. So because each indriya and manas and prana, all of them have adhisthana devata, we say. The devata amsha only is making the indriya function. Just the golaka alone, even if it is there, it need not see. Correct? Somebody may have the eye balls and all that, but eyes will not see still. There is some problem in the functioning means. So what makes it function, we say, is that devata alone. The samashti devata is manifest in each and in every individual eye, and that devata's blessing alone is the functioning of the indriya and mind and all that. Now when the Ajnani dies, all these things resolve back into all these. The devatas, devata amsha of that is taken back by the devatas, and then again it will be given back. When the new body is taken, the devatas again bless that jiva in a new body. Even there, whether the blessing is will be there or not, we don't know. Correct? It all depends on papa punya, because some people are born blind, they are born deaf and mute and all that. Correct? That means due to some papa, even though the golakam is there, the devata blessing is not there, so that indriya does not function properly. Then they have to go through that life like that, let us say. So here, that is what is shown here. What actually Arthabhaga is asking is, so initially, lists what are all the different indriyas and where their devata amsha is taken back by which devata. Okay, so he says, first he says, yatra asya purushasya mritasya. Here the purusha is Ajnani, the Ajnani purusha has died. Okay, then what happens? Agnim vagapyeti. So the vag reaches or merges with Agni, the devata amsha of the speech goes back to Agni devata. Then what else? Pranascha vatam apyeti. Apyeti we have to actually connect everywhere. Okay. Vatam pranaha means the prana goes back into wind, the Vayu devata. Then Chakshu is merged with Aditya. Mind is Chandra devata. Then the ear Shrotram is with all the Dig devata. Then the Sharira goes with the Prithvi. Then Akasham Atma. Here the Atma is really the Dahara Akasha or the Hridaya Akasha. The Akasha which is there in oneself merges with the Samashti Akasha. Then the bodily hair goes to all the plants, it seems. So Oshadihi, herbs and plants. Then Keshaha, the hair on the head goes to the trees. Vanaspatin Keshaha. Then Apsu Lohitam and Retascha. So the blood and the reproductive powers go to the waters. So Retascha Nidhiyate means they are deposited. So this Nidhiyate is an important word. Bhashyakara will comment on that later on. Because you have only deposited all these things in these devatas. Once you take another body, all these things will come back to you there. So Nidhiyate. So once this is done, he is now asking, Kwa ayam tada purushaha bhavati? Now what happens to this purusha? Because why he is asking this is, if all these things are gone, then what is making this person take another birth? What is the cause? What is still impelling? So that even, see, our view of death is, if somebody dies, the Sukshma Sharira, all the Devata Amsha is gone back with the Devata. But then we say that Jiva takes a Preta Sharira. Okay, the Preta Sharira, because the Jiva cannot be there without any Sharira. So even if this physical body is gone. There is a preta sharira is taken. And in fact, all the rituals we do post any death, we do for 12 days. The rituals are nothing but we are feeding this preta sharira so that the preta sharira can get proper body and indriya and all that, so that it can travel easily. And even all the dana, etc., you give is so that wherever that jiva has to go, that journey is easy. In fact, finally, we even say Tata, like that. The actual, there is no big mantra or anything. If you know Sanskrit, all this apara karma, what we are doing, you can easily understand. So finally, we say that you go away, and that wherever you have to go, you have to go. You cannot be here anymore. In fact, that is why we don't even put any salt. We actually do the avahanam of the jiva in a stone. And then every day we give food so that the preta sharira is formed properly. But while giving that, we don't give tasty food. We don't even put salt in that during the apara karma. That is because we don't want the jiva to linger around. So that is how it is all done. Now, but for all this to happen, what is the cause? How does this happen? Okay, so that is the question here. Because you are saying we know that the indriyas, etc., go back to the devatas. Then where is this Purusha now? Or how does he take another body? Once he asks like this, okay, so kwa ayam Purushaha tada kwa means where is this Purusha now? Because all the Devata Amsha has gone back to the Devata, physical body is gone. Then what happens? Means he is now saying, now in fact, Yajnavalkya says, Ahara Somya Hastam. So now you give me your hand, he says, my dear Arthabhaga. And then he says, what does he say? Arthabhaga Avam Eva Etasya Vedishyavaha. He says only we two. Vedishyavaha is the dual. Avam also is dual case. So we will only discuss this separately. We don't want to talk about this in the sabha, in general, in the where everybody is there. So that also he says, na avet sajanaha iti. We don't want to talk about this in front of everybody. Like that, he takes Arthabhaga separately. Then what? Tauha utkramya mantrayan chakrate tauha yad uchatuhu karma haiva tad uchatuhu atha yad prashamsatuhu karma haiva tad prashamsatuhu punyo vai punyena karmana bhavati papah papene iti tataha jaratkarava Arthabhaga upararama. So this again is a very highly quoted Vakya, punyo vai punyena karmana bhavati, papaha papena iti. This Bhashyakara quotes himself in many places and is a very important Bhashya here, the Upanishad Vakya. So he said, anyway, he took him, we will talk about this, we will discuss, we cannot discuss it in this crowd, in this sabha. So we have to assume they went out somewhere privately and they talked it over there. And what they talked there, that also is said here. They said only karma. Karma alone is the one which is carrying everything forward. That is the cause for another birth. Okay. And there they are even praising this karma. Okay. So karma haiva eva tad uchatuhu atha yat prashamsatuhu. they also praise this karma. Why? Because karma alone decides what kind of birth you are going to get, and whatever the new birth you get only due to whatever karma you have done. And in fact, they further say, and this punyo vai punyena karmana, if you have done a lot of punya karma and you have that punya, then that will lead to superior births, we have to say, correct? Good birth. And papaha papene iti. If you do a lot of papa, then you have to take inferior births. Means you have to suffer. In fact, I was reading some smritis yesterday, and there they say, for every little thing you do, what are all the kinds of birth you can take? So there's a huge list is there. Okay, very interesting to read that. What kind of transgressions lead to what kind of birth? So anyway, I don't want to go into all the detail, but it depends on what you do only. So papa karma you do, then the birth also will be according to that. And punya you do, then you are going to get a punya janma. A janma which is the result of lot of punya, means only punya is you become even Hiranyagarbha, correct? Up to that. So this karma alone carries the ajnani, and you get another birth and all that. In fact, even in Mundaka Upanishad, what I remember is, there it is said that you do all this karma, Agnihotradi karma, and once that person dies, then it seems his punya karma will welcome him, in fact. Welcome, come here, and then they will only take that jiva to Swarga and all that. Even in the Mundaka Upanishad, it is talked like that. So the karma alone is the one which is the cause for taking another body. So this is what is said here. After this, Arthabhaga is also satisfied that Yajnavalkya knows the answer for everything. He has no more questions. So he also is now, he stops. Upararama. Okay, now we'll see the Bhashya. Bhashya is very interesting because here Bhashyakara takes up the Bhartru Prapancha's view also, which again, see, they are all Jnana Karma Samuchayavadin. Even for a Jnani, they want the Jnani to keep doing some Upasana or the other. So they make some weird interpretation. So we'll see that. Okay, now Bhashyakara, what does he say? He says, Graha Atigraha Rupam Bandhanam Uttam Mrityu Rupam. So the bondage in the form of Graha and Atigraha, that was said, which is also called as death, correct? Which is Mrityu Rupam. Tasya cha Mrityoho Mrityu Sadbhavat Mokshascha Upapadyate. And even for that death, which is in the form of Graha and Atigraha, there is a Mrityu, there is a death. That is there. That also was discussed, and therefore moksha is possible. Mokshascha Upapadyate. Moksha is there. Such a moksha Graha Atigraha Rupanam Ihaiva Pralayaha. Now that moksha also, what happened? And also Pradeepa Nirvanavati, says Bhashyakara, like even the light, the lamp, when you put it off, the light just resolves there itself, correct? It is gone. Like that, the Graha Atigraha Rupa Mrityu also resolves here itself for the Jnani. That means they do not again continue to another body and all that. That is the Videha Mukta part. Then Yattat Graha Atigrahakhyam Bandhanam Mrityu Rupam Tasya Yat Prayojakam Tat Swarupa Nirdharanartham Idam Arabhyate Yajnavalkyeti Hovacha. Now, why is this next question coming means, Bhashyakara is giving the connection. He says that we know that Graha Atigraha Rupa Bandhana is their bondage. Okay, and that is called Mrityu. But what is the cause for that graha atigraha rupa mrityu to continue. What is it that is actually causing it to linger on? Okay, and make you take another birth, another birth, another birth. It's a vicious cycle, correct? What is it that is propelling this vicious cycle? That is the yat prayojakam. That is the prayojaka. That is the one which is continuing and propelling this. The nature of that prayojakam, that has to be now ascertained. Okay, tat swarupa nirdharanartham idam arabhyate. This next question or next vakya is started. Okay, now he goes to the Bhartru Prapancha's view. He says, Atra Kechit Varnayanti. Some people now, how do they connect the previous Upanishad Vakya and this one? Okay, this Atra Kechit, some means the Bhartru Prapancha. So throughout Brhadaranyaka, Bhashyakara is actually negating the views of Bhartru Prapancha. Here, Graha Atigrahasya Saprayojakasya Vinashe Api Kilana Muchyate. Okay, they say even though Graha Atigraha and their cause, okay, whatever is propelling them, even after that destruction, the Jnani or the Purusha is not liberated or does not get moksha. Okay, it is not, he is not free. So Kila na muchyate. They say Jnani also does not get moksha even after that ignorance is gone, even after all this cause of this taking the different bodies and all is gone, also is not liberated. Why? He has to continue doing upasana still. That is the jnana karma samuchayavadi. They cannot give up karma. Okay, why? Because now they say nama avashishtaha. Name remains, it seems. Okay, that's why we have to say from the jnani standpoint, even name does not remain. Name is only for others. So here now these people say name is remaining. Therefore what? Still ajnana continues. This is avidyaya usharasthaniyaya. So avidya, which is like a desert on the earth, it seems. Okay, usharasthaniyaya avidyaya swatma prabhavaya, which is also like this. Avidya itself is like one's own nature. It comes from oneself only. Okay. So naisargikaha, and all Bhashyakara also says in the Adhyasa Bhashya, because avidya is not produced, there is no beginning. Avidya also is beginningless, but it comes to an end. So he says Swatma Prabhavaya, at least it is their view. It comes from one's own self. And Paramatmanaha, Parichinnaha. So since this avidya is still there and Nama is continuing, this person is still limited and away from Paramatma. He is not still one with Paramatma. Paramatmanaha, Parichinnaha. But because of that, he is not like other jivas who are still engaged in the worldly activities. So Bodhyacha Jagataha Vyavrita. But he is also turned away from all the worldly pursuits, the Bhogya Prapancha, no more interest this person because he is a jnani. So he has turned away from all this worldly enjoyments and all that, but he is also not a Mukta Purusha. He is now in between. Okay. So Vyavritaha, and what is his state? Uchinna Kama Karmaha. So his Kama and Karma also is gone. That already we saw for the Jnani. But still Antarale Vyavatishtate, they say that he is in an in-between state. Still, even though he is a Jnani, all his Karma and Kama is gone, but still the name remains, and because of that some avidya is there, and he is there in some intermediate state. Antarale Vyavatishtate. Again, where they get the pramana to say that this antarala is there, we don't know. Tasya paramatma ekatva darshanena dvaita darshanam apanetavyam iti. So this person still has to get paramartha darshana, means he has to do upasana for that. That is their contention. So here this darshana means basically it is upasana. So he has to continue doing paramatma upasana, then only the dvaita darshana will be gone. Okay, dvaita darshanam apanetavyam iti. This is what they are saying. So even this jnani is in an intermediate state and has to continue the paramatma for paramartha darshana, or for the removal of dvaita, has to continue doing upasana. Therefore, the next question or this question has been asked. Ataf Paramartha Darshanam Arabdhavyam. Therefore, the Paramartha, how to do the Paramartha Darshana? No. Even for this Jnani who is there in this intermediate state, for that only this next Vakya has been started. Okay, like this, they give connection. And in fact, in this manner, what do they say? Evam Apavargakyam Antarala Avastam Parikalpya. So they are imagining an intermediate state called Apavarga. So they say that this intermediate state is called Apavarga according to them. Imagining that Apavarga state, Uttara Grantha Sambandham Kurvanti. So they are connecting the later Vakya with the previous Vakya by imagining all these things. Now Bhashyakara questions them. Tatra Vaktavyam. Okay, here we have to ask them what? Vishirneshu Karaneshu Videhasya Paramatma Darshana Shravana Manana Nidhyasanani Kathamiti. So now for this Jnani who is also Videha, Deha also is not there. All the Indriya, everything is gone. It does not rise. That also has already been said. So Vishirneshu Karneshu means what? All the Sukshma Sharira also is disintegrated for this person. Nothing is there. Everything is resolved. And he doesn't have any Deha, Videhasya. Paramartha Darshana Shravana Manana Nididhyasana Katham. How can then he do Shravana Manana Nididhyasana? Because Shravana Manana Nididhyasana was shown as the Sakshat Karanam for Paramatma Darshana and for Jnanam and Moksha. So how can this happen for a person who does not have any Indriya or any Deha? Okay. So further, Samavanita Pranasya hi Nama Matra Avashishtasya itihi Tairuchate. Also they say, because they also agree, the prana which has now resolved here itself or which has resolved right here, correct? Only Nama is remaining for that person. Only with that Nama, how can this person do all these things? How can he do this Paramartha Darshana? It is not possible because Mritashyete itihi Uktam, that was already said. Physical body also is gone, it is disintegrating. It is all, we know what happens. And the Sukshma Sharira also is not there, only Nama is there. So these things has already been said by the Upanishad, they also agree. Then on what basis they are saying this? That's what he is asking. Na manorathena api etad upapadayitum shakyate. He says, whatever may be your imagination, even in your wildest imagination, this cannot be possible. So how even they give such a commentary, I don't know. Like that, I think he is thinking here. So manorathena api etad upapadayitum shakyate na shakyate. Okay, it's not possible, he says. Whatever may be your manoratha, you can go in your mind and imagine, but all your imagination cannot be the actual meaning of what the Veda is revealing here. So he says, Atha Jivan Neva Avidya Matra Avashishtaha Bojyad Upavrittaha Iti Parikalpyate. So the one who has turned away from all the Bhogya Vastu, Bojyat Upavrittaha, but for him still what? He is there, but avidya is still there. Avidya matra avashishtaha. Like this they are imagining. Parikalpyate. Tattu kim nimittam iti vaktavya. Why are you saying avidya is still there? Avidya matra avashishtaha. You are saying avidya is still there even after the jnani has gained the jnanam and he has been freed and none of his, even after videha mukti, no prana, nothing is rising. Then how can you even say for what reason they are saying avidya is still there? That also they have to explain. Tattu kim nimittam iti vaktavya. They have to say that. Samasta dvaita ekatvatma prapti nimittam iti yad uchyate. Okay. See, samasta dvaita, this entire dvaita is there. Now this person still has to become one with this entire Dvaita Prapancha, it seems. Because they are saying that Sarvatma Bhava means you have to really become the Atma of everything, it seems. These are all the problems. So they are now saying some avidya is still there, and this person has to do all this upasana so that he can really become the Atma of each and every object in this entire Dvaita Prapancha. So Samasta Dvaita Ekatva Atma Prapti Nimittam. So the entire Dvaita Prapancha which is there, he has to become one with all of that. Okay, and become the Atma, because Sarvatma Bhava was said as the phala for this. It was said, correct? Aham Brahmasmi iti. Then Sarvam Abhavat. Like that, even in 1.4.10 it was said that Jnani becomes everything. Sarvam Abhavat. So that is still not happened, it seems, because after Videya Mukti, everything has resolved here, but still some Advaya, this Nama is there and Avidya is there, they are saying. And now he has to actually become everything. But that kind of an argument was already negated by Bhashyakara. In fact, this if you go back to the 1.4.10 Bhashya also, all these kinds of contentions were negated. So he now says simply Tat Purvameva Nirakritam. I have already negated this kind of view. Therefore, what Karma Sahitena Dvaita Ekatva Atma Darshanena Sampannaha Vidwan Mritaha Samavanita Pranaha Jagadatmatvam Hiranyagarbhaswarupam Va Prapnuyat Asamavanita Pranaha Bhojya Jivanneva Va Vyavrittaha Viraktaha Paramatma Darshana Abhimukaha Syat. Okay. So now he says, this I have negated. Okay. Then further what he is saying? So this person, you are saying that his Dvaita is still has to be removed, he has become the Atma. But then anyway, what they are saying is that if ignorance is still left, okay, then he has to do, I don't know how they even do that. That also Bhashyakara has negated. But anyway, so he is continuing. What is their option now? Okay, there are only two things which are possible, he is saying. One is Karma Sahitena Dvaita Ekatva Atma Darshanena Sampannaha Vidwan. So the Dvaita Atma Ekatva Atma Darshana is there. Okay, whatever is the Dvaita Prapancha here, he has to now have identity. Atma Darshana means basically self-identity with everything which is there. Okay. Then how does he gain that? Means they are saying you have to do some karma, manasam karma, upasana and all that. So with that upasana, this person, even after the death of the physical body, he has to do some upasana. Even how that is possible itself, we don't know, but that's what they are saying. So either they are saying that after the Videya Mukti, Avidya and Nama are still there, therefore this person has to do upasana, and by that upasana only he now attains self-identity with the entire world. Okay, that is one thing. Okay, but that is happening and then he gains identity with the Hiranyagarbha and all that. Or they have to say what? If that sounds very weird, correct? Because there is no body, there is no Indriya, nothing. So how all this is possible, we don't know. But they are saying that. Or va. Okay. Otherwise what? Asamavanita pranaha bhodya jivan nevava vyavrittaha viraktaha paramatma darshana abhimukaha syat. Otherwise they have to say that this person is not dead. Okay. But still he has now withdrawn from all the worldly pursuits, and then he has to do this upasana for gaining this Paramatma Darshana, or to become one with everything. So whether after death this is happening or while he is alive only this is happening. These are the two things which they have to anyway talk about. Okay. But what Bhashyakara says is Nacha Ubhayam Eka Prayatna Nishpadyena Sadhanena Labhyam. But both cannot be done by one effort or one person's effort. Correct? One person cannot do both. He cannot be both dead and alive. So only one thing is possible. Correct? he has to do only either while alive only he has to do this upasana, or after death he is doing like that, you have to say. Both are not possible. But here clearly only after death only everything. Both the Vakyas are talking about what is happening after death. So how this will make sense is still, that's what he is also wondering now. So both, you cannot say that he is alive and dead at the same time and still he can do all these things and then he will gain oneness with the entire samashti, the world. So what he is saying is, he is only again trying to show the absurdity of all these things. So what he is saying here is, so nacha ubhayam eka prayatna nishpadyena sadhanena labhyam hiranyagarbha prapti sadhanam chet. So if you say, okay, he has to gain this hiranyagarbha only, then for gaining hiranyagarbha, that itself is, he has to engage in karma, correct? That is pravritti. He has to do this upasana. But if you say he has now withdrawn from everything, that is nivritti. How can both be there? Because they are also talking about both being there together. This also Bhashyakara is trying to show that is not possible. So if you say Hiranyagarbha Prapti Sadhanam Chet, na tataha Vyavritti Sadhanam, that same upasana or whatever you are saying, that he cannot be withdrawn. If he is totally withdrawn from all karma, then he cannot do any upasana for the purpose of gaining Hiranyagarbha Pada. Or if he has withdrawn and he is a sannyasi and all that, then he cannot do that pravritti will not be there. So, but both cannot be there together. That is the idea. Paramatma abhimukhi karanasya bodhyad vyavrittehe sadhanam chet na hiranyagarbha prapti sadhanam. So otherwise if you say no, he has withdrawn and he is only interested in Paramatma darshana, then how can he even do the upasana for gaining this hiranyagarbha pada? So both together being there also is not possible, or it is illogical, he is saying. So nahi yat gati sadhanam tad gati nivrittehe. So he says, whatever is the means for gaining motion or acceleration, the same thing cannot be the cause for stopping also or braking your vehicle. So how can even these two contradictory things are there in the same person you are saying? That also is weird. So atha mritva hiranyagarbham prapya tataha samavanita pranaha nama avashishtaha paramatma jnane adhikriyate tataha asmadadi artham paramatma jnana upadeshaha anartakaha syat. So he says, therefore what you are saying, like somebody is dead, okay, mritva, and he has attained hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbham also prapya, and his pranas are all here only, they are dissolved, correct? Tataha samavanita pranaha, but his name alone remains, nama avashishtaha, and now he is again still qualified for this Paramatma Jnana after this in the Apavarga state. And then after that Tataha Asmadadi Artham Paramatma Jnana Upadeshaha, and he has to get Paramatma Jnana Upadesha again. Means all these things is what Anarthakaha he says. So it is all meaningless. How can even anybody imagine all these things? We don't know. So for ordinary people like us, Asmadadi, this is Anartakaha, he says. Okay. Therefore, what Sarvesham hi Brahma Vidya Purusharthaya Upadishyate. So what he says is all this Brahma Vidya. Basically, it is not for only, see, this Brahma Vidya is not only for the one who has gained Hiranyagarbha Pada by doing all this upasana, and then only you can get this. In fact, Bhashyakara is making it available for everybody. He says, Jnanam is something which anybody can pursue and gain. It is not only for the person who has become the Hiranyagarbha. It is not like that. Why? Because he is now quoting 1.4.10. Because in the 1.4.10 it was said, correct? See, Sarvesham hi Brahma Vidya Purusharthaya Upadishyate. He says this This Brahma Vidya Upadesha is for everybody. Whoever has the moksha as a purushartha, they should be able to gain this jnanam, correct? And how you can say that, no, it is only possible for one who has become Hiranyagarbha or one who goes to Brahmaloka, because even we talk about some Krama Mukti and all that. Krama Mukti also, I think Bhashyakara provisionally accepts it. It's there even in Brahma Sutra. That means even the one who has done all this karma and upasana and then has gained the status of being Brahma or Hiranyagarbha, that person anyway gains his knowledge in the Brahmaloka, we have to say. Or even the one who goes to Brahmaloka is taught by Brahmaji. So Pujya Swamiji used to say, why you have to do all this effort of going to Brahmaloka? There also Brahmaji will be teaching the same thing to you. You can rather listen to it here. Okay, so but what is the Veda Pramana for that? Means Tad yo devanam. Like this it is there in the 1/4. So whatever was known by the Devas is also known by the Jnani. Like this it was said in 1/4 itself. So that means it is not just only for Devas or Hiranyagarbha or anything like that. One who has attained that status. It is available for all the human beings. That was very clearly said in 1/4. Even if you go back and see that particular Vakya, we can see that. Therefore, all your contentions are all nonsense only. Tasmad atyanta nikrishtaha shastra bahya eva iyam kalpana. So this imagination of yours is not based on any shastra. It is very inferior, he says. It is atyanta nikrishta, he says. Prakritam tu vartayishyama. So then, so whatever is now coming, okay, let us go back to our subject matter, he says. Prakritam tu vartayishyama means now let us go back to whatever is the actual subject matter. Enough of discussing whatever all these imaginations of Bhartru Prapancha. So like this, he goes back to what actually the Upanishad is trying to say here. Okay, this we will see next week. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Namaste Guruji.